Yo, Novatos, thanks again for tuning into yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again. Sounds like California. So let's go ahead and look at the saddlebags from Viking. It has now been 4 weeks. I say about 4 weeks since I've got these from Viking. So they did provide me with the Viper saddlebags. All right, you guys can see I've already painted it to match with the color. I left the bike on so you guys can see how much it shakes. Of course, this is not their bracket system. I made my own bracket system out of a couple pieces of steel. You guys can see it's very, you know, clean, very tight to the fender. I really like the way it looks when they're super tight like that. All right, so you guys can see how much it shakes. It's an Evo. All right, it's an Evo. It shakes. I say with their mounting system, it was also shaking about this much. You guys can see the fairing, you guys can see the wheel, you guys can see it shakes a lot. All right, so there is going to be quite a bit of vibration. These are meant for the Softail Milwaukee 8. The reason, you know, the reason why they're meant for the Softails is because of the mounting hardware that they do provide you. They provide you with 5/8 bolts. I'm using 5/16 on the Sportster, so that's pretty much the only reason. As far as mounting, and you know, they're pretty much universal. Honestly, you can put them on anything. The back of the saddlebag itself, it's, you know, relatively flat. You guys can see, so you can pretty much mount it on any bike. You can mount it any, you know, way that you want. If you guys seen my install videos, you guys can see that you could pretty much angle them any way you want. You could put them down more, you could put them up high more. The reason why I mounted them a little bit higher, it was just to kind of give it that look of a performance a bagger, kind of like what you guys see on Battle of the Baggers. You guys see the Road Glide, you guys see the Challengers. The saddlebags are mounted high up on the bike or on the struts, whatever you want to call it. So like I said, just wanted to show you guys how much it shakes. It's evil, like I said. I've had it now for 4 weeks. Just wanted to give you guys a follow-up review, how it's holding up. You know, some cons that I've come across, you know, just a few things. And I don't know, maybe the installation, if you're still wondering, you want to do this install. Like I said, I have seen these saddlebags on Lowrider S, on a few Softails. I believe they look fantastic, but the capacity is one of the big drawbacks for these saddlebags. So if you have an ST and you want to have even saddlebags, these are both even. All right, the right saddlebag and the left saddlebag are pretty much even. Let me turn off the bike. They're pretty much even, so that's, you know, one of the pluses. But you know, they are half the size of a Lowrider ST, in case you guys were wondering. I wonder if the GoPro's gonna overheat. As far as I think, you know, the build quality I've already mentioned in previous videos. The build quality on these is fantastic. You have fiberglass on the outside, you have fiberglass on the inside. They're built like tanks. They're built, you know, they're built to last. You guys can see the inside of the saddlebag. They do provide you with spacers depending on what you're mounting it on. In case you have a quick detach mounting system or luggage system, you can put that on there with their hardware. But like I said, this is my hardware to fit on the Sportster. This is not on their website. It doesn't, of course, it doesn't include the Sportster as a possible fitment. But if you get the 5/16 bolts from your hardware store, you can make it fit. You guys can see how I mounted it. Like I said, they have their own mounting system, but I really wanted to get it as close as possible to the fender. All right, their mounting system is about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches away from the strut, so I just wanted to clean it up a little bit more. All right, so you have, you know, like I said, it's well built. You have this nylon on the inside. It's enclosed on the whole inside of the saddlebag, so it is quite nice. They do provide, you know, you can see that they have these little nuts all the way on the inside to prevent your stuff from scratching. So if you wanted to, you could put little rubber caps on these bolts like I said, these are my bolts. This is not their bolting system. So maybe I could probably do that. Just put a little cap here so it doesn't scratch up my goods when they're in there and stuff like that. So you guys can see they're well built. They lock up. They're also weatherproof. You don't have to worry about sun damage or anything like that, of course. So it's pretty neat. From what I've noticed so far, you know, riding with the bags, if I don't have these locked with the key, they do open on me while I'm riding, which is something that I don't know, for some reason I'm just not locking these up with these. It's something that I would always do with my previous saddlebags, the ones that do cost $100. I would say you would have to lock these up, because there's been a few times already. That one tends to open up more frequent than this one. So I'm not entirely sure as far as you know, the touring models. We're talking about the Harley Davidson saddlebags. I believe for the most part you could leave those unlocked. I doubt they will open on you, because of course they open up from the top. I'm not sure about these clamshells or on the STs. If you guys have had that experience where the saddlebags do open up on you, I'm just curious. I'm just wondering if you ride around with your STs unlocked, do they open up? Because it's happened quite a few times already. So, you know, if you have these, probably keep them locked while you're riding. It's just something that, as a habit of mine, you know, like I mentioned, the bags, for the most part, I like to keep my bags unlocked up until, of course, when I do arrive somewhere, like at a grocery store or at a store or a retail store, I do lock my saddlebags up. That would be the one time that I do lock them up. But you know, these they have opened up. Another con that I've come across is the surface of this, the finish. It's not that great. All right, the finish of these bags, which has me a little concerned, because I painted right over this finish. So if you guys have seen, you know, because I've handled these quite a bit. Yeah, I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick it up, but you can see that right there. That's primer. All right, that's primer, and I could actually just chip it with my fingernail. I just moved it a little bit, and you guys can see it's gotten worse. There's also another piece on the inside of the saddlebag that you can see the primer kind of chipping off. This is just me handling the saddlebags, as far as painting them, installing them, stuff like that. I've already chipped the paint quite easily. There's a little part right over here where I hit it right there. You see that? I hit that with the wrench right there, and it chipped the paint right through the clear coat, the base, all the way down to the primer. And that absolutely sucks, because if they chip this easy, I mean, there's something going on during the manufacturing. Either the primers, the base is not adhesing, it's not, something's wrong. All right, because it shouldn't chip that easy. And I'm talking, I'm talking, I'm not hitting these anything. It was just like a little tap right here with the ratchet. It was just a little tap with the ratchet, and it chipped the paint. So I don't know, the clear's not thick enough. Maybe the base coat did not correctly adhere to the primer. Something went wrong with these. So I'm not sure if this is going to be a common issue with all the other ones. I mean, it could be a batch of poorly painted saddlebags for a few. But like I said, I'm a little worried, because I painted right on top of that when it comes to this. So if that's the issue there's a chance I might be having some issues with this. I mean, I put a ton of clear on this. So there's probably like how many coats of clear? I'd say there has to be like somewhere around 10 coats with the metal flake. There's probably 10 coats. I'm hoping all those coats can hold the paint together. Because if this is what's going on here, where I could just barely tap it and the paint's coming off, that's gonna suck. Because that's gonna come right off. That sucks. So we'll see what happens. You guys are gonna have to stick around for the full time, for the full review. long-term review, see how the bags hold up. But so far with the finish doing that, with me barely, just I'm being careful with the saddlebags, and even though I'm careful with it, the paint's starting to chip. It's starting to flake off. Like I said, somewhere on the bottom of one of these saddlebags, you could really see the primer, and that was me being careful too, because when I was drilling these holes, I was using the masking tape to kind of protect the surface. So I mean, I'm not too worried about it. You guys know I can paint myself, but not everybody out there is going to be able to paint their bikes. So that's just something that you guys are going to have to probably keep in mind. I mean, like I said, this could be just a bad batch of paint. It could be. I mean, it happens. It's happened to me before. I've purchased paint through these suppliers, and sometimes it's super old, and it just doesn't stick onto the surface. I mean, it could be so many different things. For one, I think somewhere between the primer and the sealer and the base coat, maybe they use the sealer and not the actual epoxy primer. Something, maybe they let it sit for too long. You're supposed to spray the base coat within 20 to 30 minutes of spraying the primer or a sealer, primer sealer. That way it actually sticks. And it could be that, or it could also be that the clear is too thin on this. So what's protecting the actual paint, because these were buffed, and they were they were cut and buffed and stuff like that. Even though the finish wasn't that great, a lot of swirls, a lot of imperfections. I mean, that could be it. I'm not entirely sure what happened. So as far as the finish, not that great. The opening in the saddlebags, it happens. So I think I'm gonna start locking these every time I get in them and every time I get out. So that's something that you guys probably want to think about. If you don't want to be locking them up every single time, I don't know. All right. As far as my other saddlebags, I had to lock them up because they would just flap up and down with the vibration and the road and stuff like that. And of course, the suspension on these Sportsters are crap as well. So there's that. Everything else, like I mentioned, they're well built. They look fantastic. You guys can see how they look. They're super tight to the fender. The way I mounted them. The mounting, of course, is a little difficult because you have to drill the holes and you have to go off of your own measurements. But I think that's probably a little bit of a positive, because you could really adjust them the way you want. You could angle them, you could have them lower. I mean, there's so many possibilities of the way you could mount these. I really think that's probably a positive as far as the mounting system being quite difficult. If you haven't installed saddlebags, it's going to take you a minute to get these on there. But it took me maybe about 2 hours by myself and taking it easy. You guys can see the full install. It's a 40-minute video. I tried compressing it quite a bit, but it's just the step-by-step videos always take a minute. So that's the review. I mean, they're currently on sale, guys. If you want to buy a pair of these saddlebags, I believe they're somewhere around 300 plus. Quite honestly, for the clam style and the visuals, the style of the saddlebags and the clam, of course, I don't think you're gonna find saddlebags cheaper than this for the $300 under $400 mark. So I have also made a video on the TCMT bags. If you do have a Softail or Lowrider S, or it's just a Milwaukee Softail, that would be the easiest option. They're only $500, so it's really quite a good deal if you ask me. Yes, the saddlebags are going to be uneven. You're going to have the right one smaller than the left one, but it's a quick bolt-on, so it's fantastic. And they're only, like I said, they're only $125 more than these. So for the extra $125 and having them a quick, install bolt-on, I think they're probably worth the extra $125, because you're not going to spend 3 hours installing them. That's why I'm saying that. And I believe the finish on the Lowrider ST is probably a little bit better because it's just clear, it's not paint. So like I said, the finish on these, it could be just a manufacturing issue with some of the saddlebags. But you guys can keep on looking at them. I think as far as the Lowrider ST, the spacing's not that bad. They do have a quick detach system on the STs. That's another benefit for the extra $125. They're a quick detach system. These are not quick detach at all. I mean, Viking does have a bracket, but it does add, you know, about almost like 1.5 inches of spacing between the saddlebag and then the fender. So the quick detach system on Harley Davidson or the TCMT one, it's a little bit sleeker, I believe. It looks a little bit cleaner. You know, just one thing that I always mention on the TCMT ones is you need to have the proper bracket on your exhaust. So if you do have an aftermarket exhaust, like a lot of people, you need to have the FX LRST bracket for those saddlebags, because they mount from the bottom of the saddlebag. They mount on this side. It's specifically, like I said, it's the exhaust bracket. So if you're considering the TCMT saddlebags, first contact your manufacturer exhaust. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a bracket for your setup, because I believe most of them do. And it's just a little extension mounting piece right here by the exhaust that lets you receive those TCMT FX LRST saddlebags. But for the most part, I think these are pretty good because of the cost. I think the cost and the style of them, because not everybody wants to lug around 40 liters of stuff. These are 27, I believe. 27 combined, right? They're half of the FX LRST saddlebags. They're half of the other bags. I believe they're 27 liters combined. I believe. I'm not entirely sure. You know, capacity, they're not that great. The opening, of course, right here. Have you guys seen the videos? This is a little bit over 5 inches. So I still like them. You know, I still like the way they look. It really ties in with the whole build, with the FX LRST fairing and stuff like that. The color, I really dig them. And I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted these from Viper. I just wish they were just a little bit bigger. I think if they were just a little bit bigger, it would have been fantastic, because a lot of people are looking for the evenness of the saddlebag. So you guys can see. All right, you can see from this point to this point with their mounting system, it's 26 inches. I already made this video. But, you know, with my mounting system, it's probably around 24.5, because I was able to slim it down quite a bit. You guys can see what that looks like. So, yeah, that's the review. You know, just you know, keep in mind, if you order these, they're going to be smaller. And the finish is not going to be, you know, that great. And if a lot of their saddlebags are like these ones, you have to be very cautious around them when you're mounting them and drilling into them, because there's a chance you will start chipping away that base coat. So, you know, install them, use them, and once it gets to a point where you're not happy with the chipping or the paint, stuff like this, where you start seeing a lot more primer as you go, then probably consider getting them painted, and they're probably going to cost around, depending on the color, of course, they're probably going to cost you around $700 to $900 to get them painted. So that's pretty much it. You know, life's risk. Get out there and ride. Later.